Okay, so welcome to the workshop. Thank you for everybody for being here. We may have another few people dialing in as we go. I'll let him in as we go along. This was a seminar, a conference keynote that I did over in the UK for one of my favorite UK clients, Nest Management, and the response was really good. And a few people said, "Could I, if they couldn't get there, they heard about it, could we rerun it?" I've delivered it for another team as well. We had a Zoom call, another team one, and it's become one of my little keynotes. I'm going to keep it and deliver it as a product as I go along. So I thought I'd give a rerun here and record it for anybody who wants to participate. So the theme is what color is your unicorn? I have an ebook that I'll send out with the copy of the recording so you can have a look at it as well. And the principle is, and just in my opinion, is I think that in the grounds of AI coming through, and we've seen AI just about everywhere now. It's doing, video and content and sound and images and pictures and storyboards, and it all looks the same. And I think we've got a real opportunity in the small to medium sized business sector to differentiate ourselves, stand out from the crowd, and make a real difference, not by ignoring AI, but by doing some other things, a bit more creativity around it. So we do stand out and we are truly unique and different. And that's the sort of the theme storyboard for this. Now, I'm not sure. I think everybody on here knows me, I'm pretty sure, but this slide was on the deck, so I'll just run through it. I'm currently sat. I'm actually at home this morning, or today. Home is here where the blue pin is, right on the German border in France. Our offices are just up the road a little bit towards where Stefan is sat. We're in Schengen, right on the German Luxembourg border. And we have offices over in the UK as well. And we travel around. We're traveling up to the UK this weekend for another conference I think it's in Warwick. Anyway, that's where we are. That's what we do. So the question is, first question, don't know how this color is going to show up on your screens, but what color do you see? What color is that? What color springs to mind when I put that up on the screen? You can beige, Stefan, you're a genius. Excellent. Beige. And the reason it's beige is because if I look at, and I include myself in this is not a criticism of anybody at all. If I look at any business in the SME sector, whether it's martial arts or services or relocation or coaching or training, they all look the same. They're all beige. They all look the same. They say the same thing. They deliver the same product. And it's just more and more of the same old, same old, same old. And there's no competitive advantage there because if I'm an untrained buyer and I look at an accounting firm, sorry, Richard, or I look at a martial arts academy, it doesn't matter what it is, I don't know what accountants do. I don't know what martial artists do. When I look at a martial arts academy or an accounting practice or wherever it is, to me, they all look the same. And the opportunity I think we have is to positively differentiate ourselves so that when the untrained eye looks at us, we go, wow, that looks great. That looks amazing. That looks very cool and different. And therefore, I'm attracted to go towards your business as opposed to anybody else's. So I think there's a lot of beigeness out there in restaurants and shops and services and all these sort of things. They're all the blooming same. They really are, which gives us an opportunity to punch through. So the unicorn approach is what do we need to do differently to really make a splash and punch through and attract and grow without just spending more money on Facebook marketing. So one of the principles is, first of all, avoid beige. This is an image. It's called survivor bias, and we all have this, and it applies to our marketing as well. And I'll explain in a second or two. So survivor bias. This is an image, a picture of a World War II aircraft, and what happened during World War II when aircraft were coming back from sorties. They would look at where the bullet holes were in the aircraft, and they mapped them on these boards to see where's the most common places that the aircraft get hit. And then the air crew said, well, what we should do is we should put armor plating around these areas, around the wing tips and the tail and all this sort of thing to protect the aircraft. That's where they get hit a lot. And of course, it's not true. What they should be doing, you've probably seen this on social media anyway, but it's just a mindset thing. What they should be doing is rather than focusing on where the bullets hit, they should be looking at where they don't hit, because where they don't hit is where the non-returning aircraft were hit. They got hit in the cockpit and the engines, for example. So you don't put armor plating around where the bullets have hit on returning aircraft. You put the plating around where the bullets hit on the non-returning aircraft. And we've got to flip this in our marketing as well. So this survivor bias, we focus on the wrong thing, in my experience, in marketing. And how that shows up in marketing is if you imagine we have a total target market, it could be in a town or a city or a group, or you may say you have a demographic you want to attract. It could be, for Richard in the accounting world, it could be business owners between the ages of sort of 35 and 50, for example. For martial artists, it could be youngsters from the age of 4 to 7 or from 12 to 15. Doesn't matter what it is, there's a total population. And then what happens in marketing, whether we do social media or email or telesales or whatever marketing we do, we go into that total population and we have a response. And typically, it's like a 2% response rate. So if let's say email marketing. If I was to send out 10,000 emails, I'm going to get some people look at them, some people delete them, some people block me, and some people respond. It's about 2%. If you get 2% response rate on email marketing, you're doing pretty well. If I do Facebook marketing, for example, it goes out onto Facebook, I sponsor it, or LinkedIn, or whatever it is, I get some response back. Loads of people do not engage, so we've got 98% passive. So what happens in marketing terms traditionally is what we focus on, survivor bias, we focus on this 2%. And we start saying, well, we've got to make sure now that we get of that 2%, if in martial arts terms, for example, they've got to confirm and show up for a trial as a conversion rate. How many, every 10 applicants that come through, how many come through for a trial at a conversion rate? They show up for a trial lesson and then they convert to a student as another conversion rate. And we really focus in on that 2%. I don't think it's wrong, but I think we're missing out on a huge chunk of that total population. Because what it is, that our marketing is not resonating with enough people. It's only hitting 2%. I think there's what I call missing in action. There's not all the total population aren't going to be interested, but a lot more people are going to be interested if our marketing and our visibility, our reputation, and the things that people say about us, if that resonates more strongly, we're going to fish in a much bigger pond. These people are going to resonate with what we say and what we stand for, and they're going to come along. So it really opens up the possibility within our target market to resonate with more people. So, and you can sort of see these stats, these typical marketing stats, if you like. Nothing wrong with marketing. I think it's a massive missed opportunity. And so being unique and different and special and defined as such means that we don't get 2% response. We get maybe it's a 15-20% response, and that just makes the whole marketing and business growth and scalability much more compelling. So that's the principle for it. So how it shows up, and we can use this as a toolkit here. I can send you over this a document called the value canvas. How do you start this off? How do you define what your unicorn's going to be and make a difference out there? So we start with the client or the student or the customer on the right-hand side of the screen, and we fill in these three boxes. And we need to know, first of all, what are the gains that our customers, students, clients, whatever, what are the gains they want to make? So it might be if you're in the Jules, you're in the leather work, in the leather products world, well, the gains they want to make, I think as Tim said, they want to give very cool artisan gifts to their friends and family. They want something special and unique and have something that's not just bought from, B&M on a Saturday afternoon or flowers from the gas station on the way home. So what gains do your potential customers and clients want to make? If you're in martial arts, what the gain? Is it fitness, confidence, certainty, stop being bullied, have that? What is the gain they want to make? Is it a black belt they want to get? If you're in the relocations world, the gain will be, so I guess, looking at seamless transition to a new country. They don't want to have the hassle. They don't want to have to look in for schools and homes and houses. It's just, that's the gain. I want to have a seamless transition, home and family, to a new territory. Those are the gains. Then we have the pains. What are the frustrations that people find as a consequence of working with someone in your sector, your business, your sector? So it may be, for example, martial arts, it may be they can't train on a Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. That might be a pain for them. They work in shift work, for example. There's a pain they have. How can we fix that? What's in the academy structure they could do to maybe fix that? Maybe there's a pain of, for example, I'll pick on relocations again, language constraints. It's a real pain to move to a new country when you don't speak the language of destination. How can you overcome that? Well, you can provide localized services and all this sort of thing that also get away from that. So find the pains that people have, and the way to do this is speak to existing customers, students, and clients, and say to them, what have you gained? Why did you join us? Why did you work with us? What have you got from being a student or being a client or being a customer? One of the things we did, and this is probably a couple of years ago now, we asked some of the clients we're working with, why do you work with us? And I thought it would be money and time and all this sort of the tangible sort of stuff. But the common thread that came back was actually hope. We gave them hope. I was like, oh, okay, I hadn't sort of spotted that hope of a future of growth and development. Yes, the money, the sales, and everything else and goes with it, but one of the key things was hope. So you speak to your own customers, students, and clients. They'll guide you through what the gains they expect to get and the pains they don't want to have. And then also the third one is what goals do they have? What's the outcome that makes them want to work with you? What's the end game look like? Is it to be able to compete in martial arts? Is it to be able to, if from Richard, from your perspective in the account side, is the goal to sell the business or scale the business or pass it over to the children or whatever it is? What is the outcome? What's the goal they're looking to achieve? And once we understand that on the right hand side of the canvas, then we develop the left hand side of the canvas, which is really, well, what are our gain creators? What do we do? What do I do as a consequence of the gains and pains and goals of my target market? What am I doing to solve the gain? Now, if hope is a gain that people make, how do I give people hope? Well, hope is to do with reliability and trust and engagement and support and all those sort of things there. That's what I would do on a consistent basis to deliver the gains they want to make. If the pains of people in your sector are, you know what they are, well, what are your pain relievers? How do you solve that problem that they've got? And at the moment, we're not talking about you as a martial artist or an accountant or in leather goods or relocations or coaching. All we're looking at right now is forget what you do. This is just how are you going to deliver? How are you going to show up? What's the product? What's the service? How are you going to match your company to suit the gains, pains, and goals of your target market? And the third aspect then is the product. How do you productize what you do? One of the challenges, for example, I'll pick on martial arts with this one, is that you go to martial arts academy and basically it is okay. Well, you go for a trial lesson, you sign up, and that's it. You just off you go. You keep on going. There's no product. I know there is a product, but I don't sense it. Now, if you said to me, for example, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to get you to your first, I'm going to guess now, your first three belts is the first 9 months of this. There's your first 9 months is first three belts. As you progress through that, first of all, you're with them for 9 months because that's the product they're buying. During that 9 months, they buy into what you do and they become probably students for life anyway. But we can productize it and define it. I can sell a product or define a product. I can't just define let's do some stuff every, 2 times a week and see how it goes. I know that's very unfair, but same with accounting. So from an accounting point of view, we have an accountant in Luxembourg. I don't know what they do. They do stuff, but there's no product to it. There's nobody saying, here's what we're going to get, here's what you're going to get, and what's going to look like. So we can productize what we do to make it tangible for the purchasers, the potential clients, to understand what it is we do, and it makes the purchasing easier, and it reflects their gains, pains, and their own personal targets as well. So that's the value canvas is a great start point for it. How it will show up then, how do you know you've got this, is when you can then define in your mind, and maybe for your team as well, your elevator pitch. And I saw a little meme this morning. It was on TikTok, and it said Americans use the word elevator. In England, we use the word lift. And he just said, "I guess we're raised differently." And it's like a bit of dad humor there, but still. So the elevator pitch is the mindset is you're on the 10th floor of a building with the lift, the elevator, doors open, you walk in, and your perfect prospect walks in, somebody you want to work with, good client of yours, could be a company, an individual, doesn't matter. As the doors close, the prospect looks to you and they just say, "Hi, good to meet you. What do you do?" And it's what you say next defines your elevator pitch. How do you pitch to that person? Now, most people would say For example, I'm not going to pick on anybody. Most people say, I would say, I'm a business coach and trainer based out of Luxembourg. We have a whole range of programs for SMEs and corporates and large organizations, and we deliver keynote presentations and workshops as well. Now, the time I've said the words business coach at the very start, they have glazed over and they started to tap the buttons on floor 7 so they can get out early because nobody's interested. Same with relocation. So thank you, Stefan, for your support. Same with accountants, same with relocations experts, and the same with martial artists. How you can phrase it, and this is where you've done the work on the canvas, is when you bring the conversation through and you can say to them, rather than a statement of what you do, you make it build into a phrase that ticks the boxes for their gains and pains. And you phrase it in a way, there's a question. So what I would say, for example, is if somebody says, "What do you do?" I might say, "Well, you know how." That's the start point. Well, you know how. And I may say, "Well, you know how most business owners work long hours and don't make the money they deserve." And they go, "Yeah," they'll nod if they're a business owner, because most business owners, tend to work long hours and don't make the money they deserve. So they're going to nod in agreement with me. And all I'm going to say then is, "Well, I fixed that." That's it. I fixed that. Now, they don't know if I'm an accountant or a lawyer or a coach or a relocations. They have no idea what they're buying into. And the reason this works is that I'm resonating with them on their pains and their gains. That's literally what I'm doing. I'm reflecting them back to them. Now, what I look for then is for them to say to me, "Well, that's great. How do you do that?" Then we can have a conversation about what I do and how I do it and that type of thing. But if you can get that at the front end, don't talk about martial arts programs or relocation services or accounting packages. If you reflect through the marketing messaging that you're sending out and it ticks the box of pains and gains, they're going to go, "Huh, that's me. How did you know I'm working too many hours?" Well, I know because guess what? We all tend to. And then you could use it in martial arts, you can use it in relocations and accounting, and you can phrase it around what you find, and people go, "Huh, I'm engaged with this." And then your conversations go that way, but then your marketing goes that way as well. So your visibility, we'll touch on in a second or two, that goes that way too. You're not telling the world you are a martial artist or you're an accountant or you're a coach. You're telling people, "I fix these issues. I create these opportunities." They don't care how you do it. They don't care what you do. You just fix the problem for them. That's the elevator pitch sort of mindset. So when you get to that clear, then you can go on to the next stage, if you like. So the color of what color is your unicorn is because everybody's beige and everybody can do this sort of thing with the goals and targets. But your clients, you think you're amazing, and you are amazing. I know most of you you are amazing. You really are. But from the untrained buyer perspective, I don't get that. You all look the same to me. You just do because I look at social media, I look at your website and blah, blah, blah. It's all beige. So we've got to find out how do we bring this to life in a unique, special, different way that stands out from the crowd. Richard, okay, Richard, thank you. Richard, right. What's the elevator pitch for an accountant? So I would say, and I'm ad-libbing now, so I would say, well, you know how most people in business don't get their accounts on time and the VAT is always either late or inaccurate. The two things that generally sort of irritate people in business. And they go, "Yeah, those are things that apply to them." Well, we make sure that never happens. Oh, wow, great. How'd you do that? We have a range of products and services that's a guarantee we do this. Richard, one of the guarantees that you make, for example, I think is really, really cool, is you have a guarantee that you will respond to an email within 24 hours. And if you don't respond to that email within 24 hours, I think, is it £5 or £10 in a charity tin, for example? That's fabulous. So you could say, well, you know how most accountants don't respond on time with any queries you may have about your expenses or tax returns or month end. You go, yeah, because they don't. They're pretty, most of them don't. We guarantee that never happens. Wow, how do you do that? So it's finding the frustrations that people have, or the common problems that people have, and you just fix those. That's it. We have a roofing company come to fix the house. We've got a roof, leaky roof, and we booked 4 people to come and look at it, and only one turned up. He was on time. In fact, he was early. He phoned when he was around the corner. On time, he turned up. He took his shoes off when he came into the house. He had a good look round. He said, "You don't need to replace the roof. It's fixable. It's salvageable. It's all good." And he gave us a price. We shook hands on the day. Done. Deal. He's going to come round. £10, Richard, thank you. £10, you make very few charitable donations. So it's really about the service and the feeling you give people. It hasn't got to be anything dramatic, just a simple guarantee or what makes you stand out from the crowd. So it's defining your unicorn status. For example, if I'm ever late for a meeting, and some of you know this, if I'm late for a meeting, a Zoom call, or an appointment, and I'm not sort of in a ditch in a car wreck or something, and I haven't let you know, if I'm late, you get a bottle of champagne as an apology. I think in the last 22 years of doing this, I think we've given out about, I'm going to say five or six, something like that. It's not many. That's one of the guarantees that I make. One of the frustrations that people find is people are not on time, not punctual, and I always am. Stefan reckons you got all five. Yeah, thank you. So this is the ebook I'll send across as well with some more depth to it, to some ideas and pointers. But here's a couple of examples of what other companies are doing in different sectors that I think are just unique and different, and it's nothing dramatic. It just stands out from the crowd. So over in the UK, and I'm going to go to one of these restaurants. It's Dishoom. It's a chain or small chain, I think, of two or three Indian restaurants I think in London. I think they're up in Birmingham as well now. But anyway, and they had a challenge in their business where they found they're busy, busy, busy after 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock to 11 o'clock at night, they're absolutely rammed. And of course, the restaurant is open from lunchtime, and the whole afternoon was just dead. They were losing money almost. They weren't getting the footfall. So they had a bright idea. And what happens is you join their Matka Tokens Club and you have to register for it and you have to be a customer of theirs. And they give you this key ring. You can see it on a little key ring with a die on it, little rolling die. And if you eat there and finish your dinner, your meal before 6 o'clock, then you can roll the die. If you get a six, the meal is free and the drinks are free for you and all your guests. So that was a really exciting appeal. Well, this is amazing, but you've got to go and eat before 6. You arrive at sort of 4:30, 5 o'clock maybe, an early dinner. And what they found was they got two sittings, and they got the 4 till 6 sitting, and then the 6 till 10 sittings, that sort of thing. But they made it interesting for people. And this Matka token, if you Google it, it's gone sort of viral. Everybody wants them. People are selling them online. You can trade them now, so you can go there and try and get your dinner free at this Indian restaurant. What they did as well, of course, was put their prices up by 15%. One in six, you're going to get a six, one every six rolls. Put your prices up by 15%, insulate you from the discount. Nobody noticed, nobody cared, and they filled the restaurant at the dead times that were there before. So very creative, very unique, a little bit of a unicorn thing coming through there for a restaurant. This is a fabulous story. I love this one. This is a restaurant again over in Tokyo, and it's called the Restaurant of Mistaken Orders. And what they do is they want to raise awareness in what in Japan is a very aging population. They want to raise awareness of dementia and Alzheimer's. So what they did, they've got this fabulous restaurant. All the servers have dementia of some level, and they call it the restaurant of mistaken orders because you give the order to the server, and you're very unlikely to get what you ordered. So I think it's only 60% get what they order. They have then swap plates around and wrong table, wrong thing. But the energy and the vibe and the uniqueness and the fun they have in that restaurant is just infectious, and it's always full. It's always unique. And if I go to Tokyo, I want to go there. I just want to go and experience this thing because it's so different and unique and stands out from the crowd. It's got a good cause going for it, and it's just a nice place to be. In the UK, I went to I don't know if you come across this, you can go to the prisons in the UK and have food served to you by the inmates. It's called Clink Restaurants. Went to Brixton Prison, and again, unique. You have the inmates prepare all the food supervised, so we're told, and then they come and serve it to you at the tables, and you can talk to them about not what they've done, but you can talk to them about their preparation and their goals and their aspirations, and you get these are big lads with tattoos and scars and all that sort of thing, and they're talking about they want to learn a new skill. They're going to go into the catering industry and all this sort of thing. It's amazing. So Clink in the UK, unique and special, and Restaurant of Mistaken Orders over in Japan as well. These guys over in New York, Mass Brothers Chocolate, they are an artisan chocolate making company, two brothers. what they did, their unicorn point, is they refused to mechanically handle the beans, the cocoa beans. And so what they do, this boat you can see on the slide there, that sort of sailing schooner, they sail that from Madagascar with all the beans on board back to New York, where they roast and prepare the chocolate in their artisan business. I think it's in, I'm going to say Brooklyn. I think it's Brooklyn. And they've been around for some years now, but this is a wow. They do videos and content talking about their vision and their dreams and the boat, and it's just amazing. And then one of my friends was over in New York, and we were talking about this thing. He went to get me a bar of Mass Brothers chocolate, and it's sort of hand wrapped in heavy duty paper with a little sticker on it. It's a bit lumpy and misshapen. It's handcrafted. It's great, it's lovely, it's expensive, but it's really, really nice. But they've got a story, it's unique and different, and they've just gone from strength to strength because it's only chocolate, but they've wrapped it in literally in a story and an experience. And that I think is another opportunity for all of us as well. I'll come on to that in a few seconds. Wendy's over in the US. I know you have Wendy's over in Europe. I'm not sure, but there's a different food theme going on here. Went to hamburger chain, and what they do, they have dynamic pricing. So if you want to have a burger on a Saturday afternoon, when the game's on, it's like $15. If it's a Monday at 9 o'clock in the morning or whatever it is, a quiet spot, it's $5. And they come along and they will, and then they have the food, but it's cheaper. And they're trying to fill the dead spaces within their calendar, within their working week, to pay the overheads and make a contribution. Providing $5 covers the cost of the ingredients plus a little bit of contribution, a bit of margin, life's good. They make more profit out of it. So dynamic pricing is a real core one there. Could we do that in your business? Maybe if you've got especially if you've got a full-time academy, for example, what's happening on a Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock? Probably nothing. You're not very careful. So could you do a class, or could you let it out? Could you do Tai Chi? What could you do to bring this uniqueness to the diary management so that people are opening up in that sort of the untapped 98%, more people can come and enjoy and experience what you do. There's another quick one that Burger King did as well. I didn't put it in here, but they did an offer, and you can try this out, I guess. But they did an offer where you could get a Whopper meal, I think, a Whopper meal. I think it was for 10 cents over in the US. But you had to download the app, the Burger King app, to get it, to book it, to go and collect it. And the only place you could download the app was by being in a McDonald's restaurant using their Wi-Fi, using their IP address. So they put this offer out, then everywhere, a lot of people went to McDonald's, and then they downloaded the app in McDonald's, ordered a Burger King, then walked across to Burger King to collect the 10 cents. That really sort of rubs salt in the wound, that sort of thing. But anyway, bit of creativity in marketing as well. And the final one here, this is a Continuum gym over in New York. And this is you can Google it, have a look at it. So it's a fabulous place. And if I look at the fitness industry, martial arts industry, for example, this is all aligned with that. You'll probably find that in the UK, the average monthly membership is between, I don't know, 45 and 55 pounds, something like that per month to go to the gym, to go to the martial arts academy, whatever it is. Call it 50 quid, call it 60 quid, whatever it is. These guys charge $10,000 per month to be a member of Continuum Gym. And I thought, wow, that's you intrigued. We're all intrigued by this. What the heck do you get for 10,000 a month? So I went onto the website and I've applied. I've used Stefan's email address and bank card, but I've I've applied. Now you can't just go and turn up. You have to apply to be invited. So it's like, crikey, there's scarcity coming through. There's something going on, but somehow high price point is intriguing to people. I want to know what you get. I haven't got 10 grand a month to spend on it, but I want to know what you're going to get for 10 grand a month. Sometimes being too cheap put people off because of that red circle, the 98% that don't respond, if you like. Some of them look at maybe what you do, whether you're accounting or martial arts or whatever, and they go, I don't believe you can get good value for that. It's too cheap. If I said to you, let's go laser eye surgery, it's 37 euros 50, buy one, get one free. Who's going to go for that? Because you're not going to go for that. It's too cheap. It doesn't add up. It doesn't stack up. Laser eye surgery, you've got to pay 1,000 per eye at least, just so you feel like, they're going to use anesthetic or something, But you want to pay money. Money conveys value. Money conveys quality. You may be just too cheap in certain areas. And if you want to sell a product, I mean, back to the product box, if you want to sell a product in the martial arts world or the accounting world or anywhere, you want to sell a product for 250 a month, just have one. If you said to some of your prospects, for example, we've got a £250 a month program, which includes unlimited access and nutrition and one-to-one coaching, blah, 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 all this sort of thing, or you can have the gold program, which is 95 a month, or the silver program, which is 65 a month. Somebody's going to pay the 250. They're going to pay the 250. Somebody will. Somebody will pay the 95 because that 250 makes the 95 look really cheap. It's called a halo effect. So have a high level product that's valuable and people will go for it, but it makes your other products look cheap. If you start off at 75 and 75 only, you've got nowhere to go. So have a high level product, somebody will buy it, but this price point can be uniqueness as well. That can really help. So that's some examples of what's happening in business and being creative with it, if you like, as well. The way to go loud with this, and one of the mistakes I find that people make is they have a fabulous business, they have a uniqueness, they have some really cool things going on, and they don't shout about it. So I call it going loud. So the three things we should be talking about from a marketing visibility perspective is personality. Your personality, you as the business owner, and your team as well. Some people are very good at putting themselves out there on stage, networking, visibility, video, social media. They go, "Here's me. I'm talking about this. I'm talking about that." That's fantastic. That's great. A lot of people don't. They hide behind a bland Facebook post or a bland social media post, and it doesn't work. So we've got personality. Then we've got the benefits. What are the benefits of working with you? And the benefits are basically what problem do I solve and what pain do I overcome for you? How do I do that? How do I win as a consequence of working with? Those are the benefits. Now the uniqueness then, because everybody's got personality and everybody's got benefits. The uniqueness is how do you do it different? What is special about you? How do you peel away this beige curtain so I can see something like, wow, that's amazing. That's great. I love this. This is amazing. And we had a lawyer client over in the UK. She's a personal friend now. And what she would do, she was a litigation lawyer, or defense lawyer. Sorry, she was a defense lawyer. And what she found was that people, if you've ever been sued by anybody, it's pretty traumatic stuff. I've been sued a couple of times and it's pretty traumatic stuff. You don't want to go down that route. And what she found was if she guaranteed to give every client a quick phone call on a Friday afternoon with an update, just to let you know, this is where we are. It's under control. We're going to be okay. Relax over the weekend. You're good. I was like, whew. They didn't fret over the weekend. So little things like that, feedback and communication styles can be really helpful. So if you market and make visible just your benefits and uniqueness, okay? You're a branded product. You're an iPhone. You're a branded product. Benefits and uniqueness, that equals a branded product. We don't have a brand. You don't have a brand. You have reputation, but probably not a brand. Brand is Apple, Microsoft is the big guy, the Ford, Toyota, whatever it is. The benefits and the uniqueness. Not worried about the personality of an iPhone, for example. We're not worried about the personality of McDonald's because we know what we're going to get. They're a branded product. So benefits and uniqueness is brand. If it's personality and uniqueness, then really that's just personal niche. Now that would be people like artists, performers, comedians, singers, for example. They have a personality and they're unique. They have a different style about them, but not a lot of benefits to it. I mean, it might make nice music and that sort of thing, but it's a bit superficial if you're not very careful. And then when you have personality and benefits, then you have guru status, the Andrew Tates of this world, the online gurus who have a personality and they know the answer to everything. Yeah, not particularly compelling because they're all the blooming same if you're not very careful. The way we need to target ourselves is we go in the middle. Personality, benefits, and uniqueness. And it's a blend. Got to be all three, especially in the SME sector where we all operate. We've got to show ourselves, reveal ourselves, the genuine article, because AI is replacing people. People don't want to do it. They don't want to do their own video. They don't want to do their own storyboards, their own content, their own posts. I was speaking with somebody last week and he said, I've scheduled my next 6 months LinkedIn, social media, Facebook posts using AI. And it's all how I plug it in, and every day it drops out a post. I forget about it. And it's like, crikey, that I can't think of nothing worse because social media should be social. It should be what happened yesterday, what happens tomorrow, what have I been doing today, current affairs, current things, current thinking. So use your personality and those of your team. Be really clear on the benefits as you derive them. Why do people win as a consequence of working with you? And what makes you unique? Why do you stand out from the crowd? Why should I pick you as opposed to somebody else? And if you blend all those together, that is your sweet spot. That's your target. So when you go loud, reputation, people talk about you. People talk about the dementia restaurant. They talk about the Matka die in the restaurants. They just do. And you can think of businesses you've traded with or been to that are unique and special. It's like, wow. You tell people about it in the restaurant, in the pub, over dinner. You go, you won't believe what happened here. These guys are amazing. They did this, this, and this. There's your best marketing done. Build it with personality and the benefits they derive as a consequence, and derive your uniqueness. Be unique and be different and be special. It's a real powerful one. So to finish up, just finish off, and I'll open to questions. I'm going to show you a screen print. These are some of my LinkedIn posts. We use LinkedIn. You may use TikTok, Facebook, whatever it is. And I show the post that I've done, and the one is literally today. It's the one I did this on Sunday. It's a live update, and I show now most of the posts that I do on LinkedIn typically will get, I don't know, 2,000-3,000 views, something like that. I do a daily video. It's called the Daily Adventure. Every day I do a video. It might be me out walking the dog. It might be me in the office in Luxembourg. It might be here. A daily video update so people hear my voice and they see what I'm up to. And then I put posts up on LinkedIn, and they're nothing to do with business coaching and training. What they do is they're focusing on my personality, some of the benefits and uniqueness about what we do. And this is the result. So top performing post. This is top performing post, a screen print taken this morning from April the 16th last year to April the 15th this year. So today, did it this morning. So here's one, 107,000 impressions, which in LinkedIn terms is viral. That's viral almost. And that was, I have been married 4 times to the same person. So I talk about Lynn. I talk about Lynn being the blonde one. We work together, we travel together, and we operate as a pair. We're a husband and wife team. And therefore we tend to attract husband and wife teams, not exclusively, but we know what it's like to work in the family firm. Working with your partner, your wife, your husband, or whatever it is, has its own challenges. But because we do that, and I talk about it, we attract people who have a like-minded approach. So 107,000 views there. This one, 136,000. If you know what these are and have used them, we can be friends. And it's those little steel heel protectors we used to get back in the old days. So what I'm triggering now is people of a certain age, my age, for example, who know what those are. 136,000 impressions, 722 comments. It just went crazy. And then the one on Sunday was a quote made by this guy Christian Craighead, who was he was the SAS guy that went into the office building shopping mall hotel in Nairobi when there was that siege. He went in single-handedly without permission and almost sort of sorted him out. And when he was being chastised by the political gurus in the UK. And he said, why didn't you wait? Why didn't you get permission? Why didn't you get support? It could have gone horribly wrong. And he said, well, it's who dares wins, not who dares waits around for permission. I thought that's a brilliant quote. So I put that quote up there. It was a bit of a bit of motivational start for Sunday. And so far, 266,000, over 250,000 people have seen that. And the fallout from that has been connections and messages. I've got, before we started this, I've got 12 meetings booked in my calendar, calls booked, and then about 10 or 15 due to come along in the next couple of weeks as a consequence of these posts, the visibility. People come to me and want to have a chat about what we do and how we do it. And that's what will happen to you. These aren't sponsored. I don't pay a penny on LinkedIn, apart from I have the status one, if you like. And that's how it works. So talk about you, talk about your dog, talk about your partner, talk about your wife, talk about what you do, but expose yourself in a positive way to the world. Stand in front of the camera and talk at it. Stefan, you're brilliant at this. You do lots of videos and content. People know you, they hear your voice, they see you. I had a conversation with a lady on, when was it? It was Monday, and she said, you know what? She said, I've seen you on LinkedIn, I've seen your videos and all this sort of thing. She said, I wondered what I was going to get when I spoke to you. She said, it's exactly the same. Same voice, same pace, same background, same accent. It's not AI, it's not generated, there's no makeup, there's no beef tallow here making me look gorgeous or anything like that. This is what you get. It's authentic. I think that's really important. So be unique, be special, be creative, and then go and shout about it and reveal yourselves to the world. The reason this works, there's a final point, it's called the law of precession. I don't talk about business coaching and training and all that sort of thing. I talk about what resonates with people. And the law of precession is really the law of unintended consequences. How it works is this: imagine a bee. Bees go to flower, they pollinate flowers, they get nectar and they get pollen, two different things. Why does a bee go to the flower? Well, the bee goes to the flower to get pollen and nectar. That's the only thing the bee's worried about: getting the pollen for the hive and the nectar to create take it all back to the hive and make honey and all that sort of thing. That's the only reason the bee does it. The unintentional consequence of bees doing that is something called pollination. That's why you have bees with your fruit trees and your flowers and that sort of thing. If the bees don't do that, we don't get any food. The bee isn't doing it for that purpose, but processionally, a happy consequence of that activity is it creates life on Earth for us. So never ever kill a bee, a honeybee. So that's where it works. And the same in marketing. Our intention is to go and do lead generation, and appointments and meetings and rah, 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 and how fabulous we are. Don't do it. Or do it, but do it in a way that is your intention is to make yourself famous and unique and special and authentic and real and genuine. The 90-degree response to that, the processional response to that will be inbound inquiries, reputation, people talk about you. And other people aren't doing that. Other people are panicking out there doing sponsored advertising and all this sort of stuff. Do sponsored advertising, but also do this other work and see what turns up. You'll be surprised. The law of unintended consequences. It absolutely works. So, I could talk for that long. So, questions, please unmute by all means, or put it in the chat. Any thoughts, questions, observations, anything you'd like me to um, explain away or go over again or anything like that, just fire. I'm here to help. So who's got some questions? I know Stefan will have one, but anyway, any questions? I'll make some up if you're not careful. Martin, yeah, please. Could you unmute? There we go.
Yeah. Good afternoon. You always said that you were quite shy, and
Yeah.
how did you overcome that? Because I always find I'm quite shy. I don't like to boast about my achievements and things like this.
Yeah.
How did you overcome that?
I'm actually classed as an introvert. Yeah, I am an introvert. What I found was I can do it in short bursts. That for me was short bursts. And what I found, I see people when they talk about all the millions they've made and how successful they are, and they have the Breitling watch and this sort of thing. I can't. I haven't got a Breitling watch for a start. Not my thing. I feel uncomfortable. What I will call bragging. I don't like that. It doesn't feel right. What I am comfortable with is talking about sort of what we're doing. If I'm traveling, I'm okay with that. We're traveling. We're traveling to the UK on Thursday. We've got a conference. I'm on stage doing a conference. I'm okay with talking about what I do and I think what the difference I can make with people. But I don't like bragging. And then when I sort of realized that I can do it in my own way, my own style, if you like, my own voice, I became okay with it. But yeah, I am an introvert. I've got to the point now I do enjoy being on stage, but my worst nightmare is you do a conference gig, and then they say, "Do you want to come out to the restaurant later on with the team and have dinner?" And no, I don't. I want to go and watch Netflix in the hotel room by myself. I don't want to be doing that. But no, I had to. I
Um,
found a way to cope with it. That I was in my So my approach, my style, my voice, if that makes sense. Where I don't think I'm all rah rah. I can't do the the Grant Cardone type stuff and how amazing I never talk about. I don't think anyway. I see people on LinkedIn talk about I had a business of 50 million and it made this and it made that and we did that and we blah. It's not true anyway, but I don't talk about those sort of things. I mean, I'll talk about what we're doing on the journey and tell some stories that add value. I hope they add value to people, but I don't like this, not bragging quite so much. So, but that was my sort of coping strategy.
Can I share my experience?
Of course you can, please, Stefan. Yeah.
Yeah, Martin, I was an introvert and still a bit, but I think it's like every muscle, you need to train it. So when I launched my business 8 years ago, didn't have a lot of money to spend on marketing or whatever, and the only thing was networking, and I hated it. And you go the first time, you don't talk to anybody, you are on your side, and then you said I need to bring business, and then you're going to talk to one person next time, and then this person is going to introduce you to another person, and now it's like that on LinkedIn. The same. I go to events now, people come to me and say, oh, hello, Stefan, how are you? I don't even know who they are. And same with videos, David has been pushing me to do videos, and I said no, I hate it, and now I started to do some videos, and the more you do it, the easier it becomes, and the better you are, at doing it.
Yeah, I think it's just have a play with it, Jen, and don't
Yeah.
take it too seriously. I think there's a lot of in marketing terms, people will say you've got to be, polished and accurate and the perfect lighting and perfect sound. I don't think it has. I think it's got to be good, good enough. But if it's a bit, if you're out and about on your phone, just hold the phone in front of you, just talk as walking the dog or whatever you're doing. It's
Yeah,
absolutely
I
fine.
still remember that I was, recording maybe 30 times
Yeah,
4 or 5 years ago, when I was doing a video. Now
yeah.
I do one shot, two shots, and then there it goes. It's not perfect, and English is not my native language, but that's fine. And I mean, I get a lot of traction with that on LinkedIn now.
Absolutely. Yeah. I did and yeah, thank you, Stefan. You're absolutely right. I did an event. It was a big manufacturing company in Manchester in the UK. It was a kickoff event for their team. It had about, I'm going to say 80 people or 90 people in the room. I don't know any of them at all. And I did a keynote thing, not this one, a similar sort of an hour and a half presentation, that type of thing. And at the end, I came to this point, I said, anybody got any questions? And a hand went up at the back of the room. And this guy said, oh, I have no idea who he was. He said, how's Lucy the Beagle? Because Lucy had been for an operation, I think in November, just before Christmas. She had an operation on a snout, and she's fine. And I did a quick post on LinkedIn. It was just one off, Lucy the Beagle is whatever. He was more concerned about the dog than he was me, but he'd been following and watching, and that's how it goes. And people are when that sort of red that circle, that the target market. That yellow circle's who engage, but that they're watching you. They are just what, and they move towards your position. They just do. I can't explain exactly how it works, but
And if
it's
you
very
do it,
rewarding.
even 1% more than your competitors,
Exactly.
then you are more visible. I have people in Luxembourg telling me you are the only relocation company in Luxembourg. And I said,
It's right.
well, no,
You're the only one
well,
that
but you
counts.
see,
The only one that
yeah,
counts.
yeah. But I mean, you see, it's only because I'm visible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think we're for all of us. I'm coming to Richard's question here was what message will make me less beige? Richard, I'm not going to suggest you are beige at all. The accounting practices or anyway, but in answer to that question, I think what would make you less beige? Richard and I, we met pre-Christmas. We met online, went on LinkedIn. We had a coffee. There's Costa Coffee in Aylesbury, I think. Anyway, we've met up. We've met a couple of times. Now, I'm not going to tell Richard's story, but I know Richard's story because he told me, and it's a very impressive story. It's like an accountant with a personality, which is unusual. But from working as a radio presenter on BBC Radio to all sorts of other things that he's done, that I think, Richard, that is if you can't make accounting sexy and exciting, apart from being accurate and quality. Raise your storyline, your experience. I think that is absolute. That is unique, and we've all got that. We've all got a unique storyline we can talk about. I'll talk about, I was a drummer. I still am a drummer. I talk about the drums sometimes, playing live gigs behind, chicken wire in pubs and clubs and nightclubs back in the 80s. It's nothing to do with business, but it sort of gives a flavour of who I am. I'm slightly deaf in this ear, the right ear, because I used to play with rockets and guns when I was building and testing them for the British military. So I tell that story, and it tell anything you like, whatever makes you unique and stand out, and you're prepared to share it. Share it. It's absolutely that's what makes you different and unique. Just your personality, your storyboard, and your experience. It makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. But good point. Any other questions? Any other questions? There must be some questions.
Nothing from me, Dave.
Okay, thank you. Okay, generally, has it made sense? Has it triggered off some ideas? Because the key thing, workshops don't work, they don't unless you do something with it and take away one or two things. I'd urge you to try something new or different or whatever it is. Just try it. Have to run the risk of being visible or run the risk of being out there and telling your story. We've all got a story, and it will resonate with people. It attracts more people. It attracts more people to you. So, Martin, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because my son is a travel photographer, and he's classified himself as the introverted travel photographer. So he's using that as a kind of leverage thing anyway.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so he's almost like the thing that he's I'm struggling with. He's kind of leveraged it to make it to his advantage.
Fabulous. That's great. Good. Anything that is different. That's what it is. Anything that is different, it attracts people. When it comes to, I think, is if you think about the way that we are sort of hunter-gatherers, if you like. We're looking across the savannah, and we notice movement. We notice things that stand out. If you look at a sea of green and there's one red in the middle, we spot the red one. We're trained, we're focused to train the red one. We spot differences. That's how it works. If I look at a sea of providers all look the same, I'm going to spot, whether they're good or bad actually, but I'm going to spot the one that's different. We literally stand out from the crowd, and that's how we operate. We're looking for something different, something special, something unique. So that's great.
I want to know what Jules' unique selling point is. What leather stuff does she sell?
Oh yeah, careful. Yeah, Jules, please explain now. It's a family show, so be careful. Let's unmute yourself, Jules.
Yeah. Oh God. Well, I've been looking at my product list today, actually. So we've got different sections. So we've got fantasy, which is all dragons and Vikings and stuff like that. And then we've got the upper market side, which we were discussing last week, Dave, was like the wine bottle pourers and things like that, which I'm now designing a wooden box for the wine bottle pourers to go in so we can, and I've got the wine vouchers, so which gets around the license issue. So yeah, but no, sort of all sorts of bits and pieces, Martin.
So
yeah.
What's your web address, Jules?
It's quirkyhide.co.uk.
Quirkyhide.co.uk. So
yes.
don't type into Google fancy leather goods, else you might get some strange looks on your search. But quirkyhide.co.uk. And you'll see.
Yeah.
And Jen, I think that, and this is Jen's recent history, literally over the weekend, and this is a consequence of Trump and China and this sort of thing. Loads of Chinese manufacturers out there saying, well, we make the Chanel bags here and ship them over to France. And they just stick a label on this sort of thing. People they don't like that. I don't know whether it's true or not. I suspect there's a truth in it. But if you can display, for example, made in England, made in the UK, by hand, authentic, it's really here. There's uniqueness, it's made, it's artisan, it's genuine, and then you can put your price.
That's what I've been doing. I've literally just produced some leather balm. So so it's like a restorer and conditioner, and I've put handmade in Derbyshire, UK, hand poured, all that sort of stuff. And I went out for the first time Sunday, and I got quite a good response from it. So
nicely done.
Yeah, and the fact that it was made with local beeswax from a local beekeeper that I know, and stuff like that. Yeah, it went all right. Yeah, good. Yeah, Yeah, and based on our conversation last week as well, I mean, I've been doing posts every day on
Yeah,
LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and it's hard.
it
It's
is.
hard
Yeah, it
work.
is. Yeah, yes, it is. But
It's
just
hard
if it's
work.
with consistency, if you can just be consistent with the updates, the posts, and the visibility. I mean,
Yeah.
I do a video a day. I'm going to do a video a day. Do a video once a week. Just do that.
Yeah.
Video once a week. Weekends are good. Weekends are good as well. Just put it
Yeah.
out there, and you'll soon start to build and reputation,
Yeah. I've
visibility.
I've written a schedule. So like Mondays are sort of product type um posts.
Yeah,
Tuesdays are what did I put for Tuesday? Oh, Tuesdays are product posts. Wednesdays are what's going on this week.
yeah.
Thursdays are throwback Thursdays. Fridays are Fred's leather facts. Saturday and Sundays are the actual market days. So I'll do videos around the markets
Perfect.
and or a rest day, and then Mondays. So it's just so I've written a schedule. So I'm trying to get that visibility. So we'll see.
Yeah,
Mm?
that's it. Just keep going. Keep going. Be different. Be unique. Find the
Be
unicorn.
quirky.
Absolutely. Be quick. That's it. There you see. Perfect example. Perfect example.
I've just typed that into ChatGPT just to do a schedule,
Oh, there you go.
and you can just type it in and say that you got to break it down to like 3 posts a week,
Yeah.
and it's sorting out a schedule. And I said that I want to put in something a little bit oddball,
Yes.
and it will put that in for you every other week.
Love
So
it.
again,
Love it.
it can do that for you straight away there, and then you can get it right to post for you as well if you wanted to.
Fantastic.
Because I have a year's marketing written out, I do already.
Right.
I know you say about it being social, etc., but certain stuff is general stuff that bam, 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 every year it's the same
Oh,
stuff.
sure. Yeah.
Valentine's, Valentine, Easter's Easter.
Yeah.
But that's why we just do 3 posts a week on it, because then that gives us scope to drop in what's actually happening. So we've had this competition at the weekend, we've got this coming up. We've still got our freestyle, but we've got something that's definitely going to be there. So on the weeks where I might be on the beach,
Yeah.
our standard post go out for that 2 weeks.
Fabulous.
I don't have to worry about it, but then I can go back again and we can do the next bit again after that. So it's like takes the stress out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you do a structure, then add a bit of sparkle to it with some of the
Yeah.
content. There you go. That's the difference. Absolutely
So all
right.
that automation again, Tim, isn't it?
Oh, I'm up for that.
I don't miss automations. I don't miss automations one bit.
Oh, it does me no end of good, I tell you. I'm just going to stick my email in the chat for you as well, so please drop me some information through as well.
Yeah, of
Oh,
course, no worries.
but by all means, drop it in. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
please
Yeah,
do.
dropped it
brilliant.
in there now for you. So
Thanks, Tim.
no, that's all right, because my wife's birthday in May.
Okay.
Yeah, don't forget that. Don't go to the gas station for flowers for those.
Oh, don't worry, I won't forget hers. She might forget mine 4 days earlier, but that's all right.
Thanks, Tim. I'll
Okay.
copy that.
Thank you.
Any other final points or questions? Okay. So thank you for being on here. Great to see. I have recorded it because some people wanted to have a recording of it and a copy of it. This is all fine, of course. There is a pitch at the end. So this is for you guys, but also for anybody who's watching the video that couldn't make it. We have launched a couple of mastermind programs and we've got some slots opening up in May. We're going to start a new one. Not industry specific, it might be for martial arts, it could be anything, but generally we get half a dozen, 8 people together once a week on a Zoom call, and we look at these sort of things: goal setting, uniqueness, tactics, strategies, and we have a bit of accountability, some goal setting, and it starts £150 per month. You can bolt onto it if you want coaching and workshops and things with it, but £150 a month. And again, they get a group of people who are pushing you to get your business moving, get it flourishing, and you get me once a week on a Zoom call as well. So what's not to love? If you want to find out more about that, just drop me a note separately and I'll send some details. We can have a chat, see if it's what you really want to do. But we've got some slots coming up in May, and it'd be great to have you on those. If you're not already on those calls, it'd be great to have on those calls anyway as we go along. Okay, so thank you for being here. I will pause recording now.